order to make a left turn, you move your hips to the left.
Okay, well, we put that together and then we build that.
Family Flight Fest, it's a good opportunity for the community and people from the surrounding area to come in and see what the museum has to offer, and then we have a bunch of aviation related activities that the kids can participate in, and parents as well. It's just a lot of fun, gets people in the museum, gets them excited about aviation. We've got a ton of stuff to do here. We've got people doing paper airplanes, balsa wood gliders. We've got some people doing plastic models. There's a make and take session with those. If there's free flight going on, rubber band powered airplanes in the Eagle hangar. We've got some RC flying going on in the Founder's Wing. Kids can really get a good taste of a lot of different aviation hobbies. This is a really interesting event for me because I am a serious aviation geek. I started off plastic modeling, moved on to RCs, and eventually learned to fly. And it's kind of near and dear to my heart because it has all the hobbies that I grew up doing and what eventually led to my career in aviation.
Filling it in, putting in all your panel lines, filling your seams. You put primer on the model. Now what primer does is a couple of different things. It gives you a nice smooth coat so that when you put your paint, your color paint over the top, it gives it a nice uniform coat of paint.
Well, right now I want to work on a model airplane, which is a Sabre. You get to design your model, you can paint it how you want, it'll look how you want it to look, and then when you're done, it'll be really cool, and then you can just show it off.
3 years ago, I brought the two boys to the museum for the first time, and it was my first visit here. And it was such an amazing experience. We were hooked on the first visit. We checked out all the different exhibits. The boys loved the Kids Zone. They went in the flight simulator, and we bought a family membership that day. And it's been so much fun to come back ever since.
When you attach your windows, you don't use model glue. Do you use white glue in school for craft projects and school projects? You use white glue to attach the glass parts to the model. Because white glue is two things. Number one, it dries clear, so you don't get your fingerprints.
You're talking white out or
no, white glue. Elmer's glue.
Regular white glue.
Regular Elmer's white glue. Yep.
Okay.
You apply it with a toothpick, you let it dry, and if you put too much on and it gets messy, a wet Q-tip with a little bit of water takes it right off the glass, nice and clean. My father was a career Air Force guy. So I've been around aviation my entire life. Come from a long line of fighter pilots, and of course, when I learned that my eyesight was not, they weren't going to let me anywhere near anything that was military that had wings attached to it, I segued my frustration of not being able to fly the real thing and being a fighter pilot or whatever into building models. And I started out at a very young age, about 7 years old. I actually got in trouble in school and I got grounded. And after about a week of being grounded, my mother couldn't take it anymore, and she told my father to find me something to do to keep me out of trouble. So he brought me a model kit home, and that was 36 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. You put the glass in, you can actually go along with a little Q-tip, and you can actually clean up the glue, and gives you a nice smooth surface all the way around.
I've built a bunch of models. I've built a B-25. I built a P-51, I built a Corsair. When you're done with building a model, you just get to see what you built, how you did it, and then it's just a reminder of what planes have flown.
I think today it's more the enjoyment of doing something with your hands, because I think in this age of instant gratification with video games, we've lost a lot of the fine motor skills that we had as a society of craftsmen. Going back hundreds of years from woodworking and things of that nature. So it's a good segue into being able to actually create something. The advantages from an educational point of view, teaching them patience is probably one of the most critical aspects of the hobby. But then fine motor skills, attention to detail, a willingness and a desire to go back, review something, and fix it and make it better. Now, they have fun doing it with an airplane, but eventually that mindset turns into homework, it turns into chores, it turns into a part of your everyday life.
As a mother, I can just really appreciate now my son working on these planes and taking the time, and how much he's learning as far as patience, dexterity in order to create the model, and just again just the patience and really enjoying the process.
I've always been interested in airplanes, and I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
I just think they're really, really, really cool.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Best of luck, and when you finish that model, thank you for your time. When you finish that model next year, you bring it in here, you put it on the table with my stuff. All right? All right.
Hi, my name is Chris Henry. I work here at EAA, and in front of me here is a collection of models that were hand-carved by my first flight instructor, a long-term friend, Claire Paisy. Claire was a mechanic for Mohawk Airlines, became US Air, and back in the days of DC-3s and Convairs. And in between airplanes, waiting for airplanes to come in and get repaired, he would take shipping pallets that were out back of the hangars and actually carve these airplanes. And so what you see today are the collection that he did out of shipping pallets. You know, we promote building your own aircraft, and building your own aircraft, if you're going to do that, you have to dream. And when do you start dreaming? When you're a kid. And when you're a kid, you have models at your disposal. And this is a way to start the passion, to start to dream, is to do the models and to get that in front of you. I know my career started with Legos and with model airplanes. Basically, the desire to think outside the box and to build and to model, you know, to not go where everybody else has gone, but to do something different. And I think to get kids into aviation and to continue general aviation, it's great to start their dreams with what we have, you know, model airplanes and items like that.
I'm H.T. Frauchi, and what's going on here in the Eagle Hangar for EAA Family Flight Fest is we're demonstrating flying and giving gliders to kids so they can have a great time flying out here on the floor. 10 years ago when we started this event, one of the things we wanted to be sure we did was to create an environment for kids just to have fun. It wasn't structured, it wasn't that they had to do something, they didn't have a checklist they had to follow, and they didn't have to have an adult tell them how to do it. So what we created was this ability to just take a glider, put it together however they want to put it together, and you find some really bizarre looking aircraft out there that still fly fine, and they fly because of the enthusiasm of these kids out here in the middle of the floor. They're having a great time.
We're racing airplanes. See whose airplane can get the farthest.
1, 2, 3.
One of the greatest things we get to do here is to see a kid who's never really seen a model airplane fly before. Both of these are very lightweight foam airplanes with electric motors on the nose and a very lightweight small battery, and they're just a terrific product to learn to fly an RC airplane. You can fly them in a big space like this, or they do pretty well in an evening that's nice and calm outside. Anybody can do it. We have, you know, very young children, adults, folks who are my age who are still busy working but enjoy a nice hobby.
The free flight event that we're having in the Eagle Hangar is very impressive. There's all sorts of rubber band powered airplanes, and you know, it's neat to see these you know, unpowered things. The motor is the rubber band, and there's gliders that stay up for a lot longer than your balsa wood gliders you had when you were a kid. It's a blast.
That airplane is the lightest of the three, and it will fly close to 4 minutes. Mine is the heavier of the three. It'll fly about 2.5 to 3 minutes. The airplane that we have here to demonstrate some of the techniques that we use is called a hangar rat. And the rat is very simply built. It is a plastic propeller. It has one little bit of wire for a propeller shaft and the landing gear, and then everything else on this is balsa wood. This is simply some pretty standard sizes of 1/16 by 1/16 and 1/16 by 1/8 structure. And it's got a center structure to hold the wing in place, and then these struts help keep everything aligned. It's covered in tissue paper, and in fact this tissue paper has been pre-shrunk. Then we ran it through an inkjet printer to put these logos on it, and we don't shrink it at all. In fact, we don't have anything on this paper. It's just a very nice fine tissue paper, and pretty standard airplane. It's got a rudder and a horizontal tail and a wing. And what we'll do is we'll take this rubber motor, which is that specialty rubber motor that we buy by the pound, literally, and we'll strip it down to the size that we need, in this case about 3/32 of an inch, and then we'll wind it. In this case, this one will take about 2,000 turns, which we'll put in with a special winder. It doesn't have to be quite as exotic as this one, which has a special counter on it, but we'll be able to count the number of turns, and the number of turns we put in any given motor will usually give us some idea as to how high the airplane will go. Now, there are different batches of rubber. Every time it's made, people test it, and the mythical best of the bunch, since we've been making this, was made in May of 1999. This batch in particular was made in June of 2006, and it's pretty good, but it's not as good as that May of 1999. So to launch the airplane, we're going to let go of the propeller first and then just give it a gentle shove forward. We don't want to launch it too high or too low, just a nice gentle climb. It's set up to turn left, so there's a little bit of left thrust and just a little bit of left rudder, and that's what it should do. It's probably the purest form of aviation, and certainly the cheapest that I've been involved in all these years. I've been very fortunate that I've been able to fly a lot of different airplanes. But when that day comes, and it does for everybody, when I can't fly a full-size airplane anymore, I guarantee you, as long as my fingertips work, I'm going to be building rubber-powered model airplanes. You can see I've got pretty close tracking there.
EAA's mission is to grow participation in aviation, and what better way to grow participation than to invite these people into our home and show them what we're all about. And this is exactly what we're doing. We're showing all the different facets of EAA and give them a good opportunity to get involved in aviation.